Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Podcast. I'm your host, Caroline Bauer. I am here in my in-home sourdough microbakery. If you are listening on a podcast, you cannot see, but I have a large mixer and a double oven behind me in my in-home bakery where I get to sell sourdough bread and serve my community and build a business that I just love. And that is what I'm here for, is to help you do the same. And so today's episode is an abstract idea, but it's based on a conversation that I had just a couple weeks ago with the participants in my inner circle coaching group. We had this fantastic conversation, and I had the thought as we were speaking that this felt like something that I wanted to share with you, with my podcast listeners. And so today we're talking about your mindset and what it looks like to take pride in your work, but not to take it personally as you're building a sustainable business. So this conversation was sparked by a question that someone asked in the group, wondering about what to do when a customer who's been ordering regularly just drops off the map a little bit and stops ordering. Do you follow up? Do you reach out? Do you check in on them? Do you assume that they hate your product? And do you assume the worst and think that they had a bad experience? How do you go about that and not let it just eat away at your mind wondering what happened? This is especially common when you're beginning and you have a lot fewer customers, so it's a lot easier to keep track and notice when one who has been regular stops ordering. So it's totally natural, totally normal if you notice someone who's dropped off to wonder what happened. But the conversation that we had and the conversation that I want to share with you today is what to do as you're growing your business to, in a sense, protect yourself emotionally from getting too discouraged by occasions like that where someone just disappears. It is very natural for us to take everything that is related to our business very personally. This is our baby. This is a business that we're building in our home, usually with very, very deep emotional connection to the why of why we're doing it. Usually it's to serve our family, to serve our community, and it's all a very deep, heartfelt motivation, and we pour so much heart into the work that we're doing. This is handmade. We are creating each and every product, putting our hands on it, spending so much time in the creation of it. So it's representing so much love and effort and a dream to create a business that thrives and brings in income to serve your family. And then we get the added level of building a relationship with our customers. We get to meet people that maybe we didn't know before and see how they connect with our product. And they tell us things like, I couldn't eat bread, and now I get to eat bread because your sourdough works. I can digest your sourdough and it's changed my life. Things like that. Or we're connecting as a family, telling you about the sandwiches they're making, things like that. And when you have that conversation and that connection, it just sinks it a level deeper, which is natural, normal, good. However, it's really easy to lose the separation between yourself and the business. And it all bleeds together when it's a home-based business that's so deeply personal and so deeply rooted in your passion and your heart. And that's why we're having this conversation. When it becomes so, so deeply personal and you have those personal connections and then someone just drops off the map. I have a few customers come to mind who were ordering very regularly. I had a kind of a relationship, a rapport, and loved to chat with them when they picked up, and they disappeared and I haven't heard from them. And you do kind of wonder what happened, but here's the next step. So when that happens, I do not immediately assume the worst. I assume that customers are living their own life. They are making decisions that are all not based on me. I'm not going to automatically assume that I put out a bad product. I'm going to assume that maybe they had a financial change and purchasing a luxury homemade bread item is not in their budget. Or maybe they had a diet change. They're not eating bread. They're not eating carbs. They can't do gluten anymore. Maybe they went and tried a different baker, and that is totally okay. There are so many bakers, and if they found someone that they resonate better with, that is the goal. We are here to speak to our ideal customer and put our effort into reaching them And if they're resonating better with a different baker, that's not a reflection on you. That just means that they connect with a different business in a more personal way. I had a regular customer for quite a while, someone who I chatted with at market. She came and picked up, very sweet lady. And then recently I noticed her commenting on another local baker's Facebook page. And I was like, oh, that's where she went. And I don't take that personally. I am happy that she found another baker who offers products that are a little bit different from mine. And she has found a need that I was not able to meet. And that is a-okay. And maybe down the road, she loved my seeded sourdough sandwich loaves. Maybe she's going to want those. And she knows that I offer that consistently and she'll come back when she's ready. But I'm not going to lose any sleep knowing that or worrying about losing one customer. I'm going to focus on nurturing and loving the customers that I have, continually offering a really consistent quality product to them, and thanking them, maybe incentivizing them to share with their friends, just creating a really consistent experience over here so that they know what to expect. And if they decide to come back at some point, that is great. I do know that I have other customers who have stopped ordering, really loyal, wonderful customers who are eliminating gluten experimentally. And they may come back if they find that gluten wasn't the trigger in their diet, and they may never come back. And that's not about me at all. That's about they needed to eliminate gluten in order to feel better. Now, another thing that I think about often is no news is usually good news. If someone's dropped off and they haven't said anything, I'm just going to assume one of those lifestyle things happened, not that they had a bad experience. I very occasionally will get a message from someone who maybe their loaf was a little bit darker than they wanted it to be, and I'll rectify that and offer them a solution. But I've never had someone come and say, this was absolutely terrible. So I assume that if they're not giving me feedback, think about if you're shopping at the grocery store, you're not circling back to the grocery store every time you shop and saying, hey, it was great. Thanks so much. And I'm just offering a replenishable product. I do not expect feedback on a regular basis. If I get occasional feedback, that's wonderful. It's a boost and it's affirming, but it's not necessary to keep on offering that consistent product. And I'm not going to sit and wonder why they're not sharing their thoughts or their feedback. So the next step on internalizing this message is to think about your business as a business, not as an extension of you or of your self-worth. This is really important. As you move, especially as you grow and your business grows, to have that kind of layer of separation is crucial. Because like we said, your business is so personal. It's so deeply connected to you, but you do need to protect yourself emotionally and personally, but you do need to protect yourself. You can still have a great deal of pride in the product you're putting out while still having a layer of emotional detachment in a sense. You're disconnecting yourself from the outcome or from the need for feedback, just knowing that what you're offering is consistent and trusting that if you are putting out a consistent product and people are getting a very similar, predictable experience each time, that everything is just status quo and they're happy and they're just going to come and go as they need to. I love to make it practical. So here's just a couple of practical strategies to avoid taking it personally. The first would be to look at the data over the emotion. So if you track your repeat customer rate instead of dwelling on the customers who drop off, that can make it a lot easier to say, I had 20 orders this week and 15 of them were repeat customers. So I have a 75% returning customer rate, and that's fantastic. That also means that I have 5 new customers to nurture. I hope that math was right. I just did that really fast in my head. I have 5 new customers to nurture and love on and give them that first introduction to the consistent experience that they're going to have with me and hope that they keep on coming back. So track that rate of returning customers versus looking for or noticing just the one customer now and then who drops off. The second thing is to, like we talked about, just have some professional detachment. Now that sounds very like corporate gray suit to me. That's not the message that I'm conveying. But like I've already shared here, if you're building a business and it's a business that you want to grow long term and to continue to scale, not necessarily growing to a massive business, but you want to keep on building and growing and nurturing, then treating it as a business and knowing that you're showing up as a professional is going to mean detaching yourself from the personal outcome. Assume if a customer drops off or disappears that life got in the way rather than assuming the worst. And then finally, consistency is key. So I'm repeating myself a little bit, but keep on showing up, keep doing what you know works, keep producing a very consistent, predictable product, and don't let one silent customer shake your confidence. Because, like we said, no news is good news. If they have a true major complaint, the worst that will happen is that they voice that complaint, whether it's publicly or privately to you. Hopefully, they'll come privately to you. And then you address it professionally, kindly, offer a solution, and you move on. You have an opportunity to give them another great experience with your business. So at the end of the day, if we're building sustainable businesses, it means putting up just a little bit of a professional wall to protect our heart, to protect us from the emotional connection. Because if you are taking every single thing personally and tracking every single order as an extension of you, that's going to lead to burnout. It's going to be exhausting, and you're going to just spend way too much emotional energy thinking about how your customers perceived your product. So we can still care so deeply about our craft, but we do have to separate ourselves from the outcome. And then moving forward, what if a customer does disappear? What do you do? Number one, you do nothing. You just kind of let them come and go as needed. Or if it's someone that you did have a really strong relationship with and you feel that it's appropriate, you can reach out with a simple, warm, just personal check-in. Something like, hey, I'm missing your name pop up in my orders. I just hope you're doing well. Not a, hey, do you need bread this week or anything like that, but just, hey, I'm checking in on you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. It's totally okay if you feel like you have that level of relationship with the customer, but you're not making it about sales and you're not making it weird. So just do that if that feels natural. Here's what not to do. Do not obsessively wonder if you did something wrong. Don't send them a message and say, hey, I didn't hear back from you, so just wanted to make sure you liked your order. That's conveying a lot of insecurity and self-doubt, and that is not the professional image that we want to convey, especially if we are just getting started. This is where we are establishing ourselves as a business, and if you start out just on that firm, solid footing in the beginning of confidence, then that's what people are going to pick up from you as they continue to order. And then definitely don't discount your value just because someone stops ordering. Do not assume that they didn't like the product and that you need to overcompensate or add a discount or anything like that. You just move on, let them live their life, and you keep doing the best that you can do. So to wrap it all up, not every customer is going to stick around forever, and that is okay. The best thing that you can do is to focus on delivering amazing products, serving the people who show up, trusting that the right customers will keep coming back, and just stay consistent. Stay in your lane, do your very best, and love on the people who do keep coming back. So I would love to hear if you have ever struggled with this or if you have worked through the experience of detaching emotionally a little bit, or if that's something that you are still learning. Share your thoughts with me. Tag me on Instagram. I'm Caroline Bauer _sourdough, or leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. I love hearing from you, hearing what you're learning, hearing what's worked and what didn't for you as I share the same from my perspective. As always, if you haven't followed the show yet, make sure you do that. Hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode because they drop every Monday and Thursday, and they are always jam-packed with takeaways that you can go and implement directly into your business to keep building a thriving sourdough microbakery. If you know a fellow baker who maybe needed this reminder, send it over to them so they can listen and be encouraged as well. I will be back very soon with another episode, but until then, happy baking.